I am FXDLS Brooklyn. For me, it's always been about pushing myself to lay down the heavy mile days. So whether it's your first or your 100th, when you find yourself embarking on these heavy distance bike trips, say this coast to coast that we ripped last summer, you inevitably will learn some hard lessons along the way. One of these said lessons that I learned early on is that when it comes down to these 700 plus mile days on the road, every detail truly does matter. If something is not dialed in, whatever it is, the long road will indefinitely reveal this and expose this in no time at all. In a previous video, we've discussed the ways in which I set up my bikes to lay down the heavy mile days, but in this video, we're going to focus on yet another crucial aspect to distance riding, and this of course is your gear. So whether you're riding coast to coast this summer, or even just a day trip, stay tuned, because we're going to cover some essential aspects related to gear that's allowed me to complete a decade of consistent bike trips. Since this video is specifically focusing on gear for distance riding, I've narrowed down two helmets that I've found to be possibly two of the best on the market for different reasons. This is of course none other than the Simpson Mod Bandit, as well as the Shoei Neotech 3. Modular helmets have come a really long way from when I started riding until present day. For one, the modular functionality has never been so seamless, with it being pretty hard to tell at a glance that these helmets are even modulars. If you do find yourself riding cross-country, you will inevitably experience a diverse set of riding conditions along the way. With the amount of optional venting, the drop-down visor, Comm Unit compatibility, and of course, the modular function, whether you're trying to make gas stops more efficient without having to fully remove your helmet, or to grab a quick sip of water in the desert heat while riding, a modular helmet is the right tool for the job when it comes down to heavy miles. The Simpson Mod Bandit is what you've seen me typically use throughout the last couple years. My most recent trip was a 7,000 mile coast to coast all wearing this helmet, and it performed phenomenally within every condition I threw it into. Besides aesthetically standing apart from the rest, this helmet exceeds in its lightness, wide field of vision, and general comfort. Now, the Shoei Neotech 3 will definitely have some highlights that have come to be known with Shoei, which is the renowned aerodynamics, helping the helmet cut through the wind while reducing noise, as well as just a generally phenomenal build quality. Both these helmets are great, but however, if I had to choose one, I would definitely choose my Simpson Mod Bandit for the fact that it will do everything that the Neotech will do, while cutting a significant amount of weight for a lower price point. Either way you go, if you're planning to rip those heavy mile days, it all starts with a proper helmet. As distance riders, our riding style and need for gear is probably closer to the adventure bike crowd, and slowly over the course of the last 10 years, I started to feel weighted down by opting for gear that was aesthetically in line with the cruiser crowd that I had come from. As a true four-season rider, it was finally time to evolve to the next level, and for me, that had come down to the modern evolution of the Revit Tornado. With this jacket, you're getting something that could get you through the extreme heat, heavy rain, and biting cold, all while providing some serious protection and not looking half bad aesthetically. At the price point this jacket comes in at, I kinda wish I found this earlier in my riding career, given the bang for the buck on this one. The road often calls you to adapt to the ever-changing conditions. Experiencing that cold morning up north? Throw in that thermal liner it comes with. Caught off guard by the rain? This removable rain layer has you covered, and can also be worn as a separate piece off the bike if need be. Blistering desert heat? Remove all those layers and let the natural AC do its job with all this venting. I'll be running this jacket as my primary road jacket this season, and as you can see, first impressions are very good. Whether you're riding solo or embarking on that bike trip with your road dogs, having a quality comm unit is essential. Sometimes it's getting GPS directions when lost. Other times, it's alerting your road dogs of an upcoming hazard that you spotted, Or maybe it's being able to listen to that essential road playlist to get you through those mundane highway miles. A lot of times on the road, you either don't have time or a place to pull over. So being able to field and handle some of the crazy situations the road throws at you while actively riding is something that a comm unit can allow. For me, I've always gone with Lexan for the simple fact that what they offer is louder than everything else and has a battery life that will literally last days on the road before needing to be recharged. Whether I'm riding 2-up, side by side, or solo, my Lexan Novus has gotten me out of some of the sketchiest situations and has consistently been reliable, all while coming through at one of the lowest price points for a unit that offers mesh intercom. Whether it's a day trip or a full coast to coast, investing in a quality comm unit can make or break your experience on the road. When people think about the most common motorcycle injury, they often overlook this one, which is widespread hearing damage within our riding community. This is especially amplified for us distance riders who will typically put in 12 to 18 hours of seat time on any given day on the road. So why wear earplugs on your motorcycle? Well, for one, you'll protect your hearing, something that when lost will never return. For two, most earplugs will allow you to actually hear your comm unit even clearer, whether you're listening to music or communicating with your road dogs. And for three, for everyone who complains about certain helmets being too noisy, this simple fix eliminates that factor when you choose a helmet. And finally, especially for the heavy mile days, you can indefinitely increase your stamina on the bike, eliminating the constant exhaust and wind noise that will certainly strain your hearing by the end of the day, and sleep more soundly at night without that constant ringing in your ears. Now, first and foremost, the best I have found is my custom-made earplugs that I've had made time and time again whenever I go to Sturgis. You can also have a doctor fit these for you, which is probably your best bet. Now, if you're in a pinch, there are some really good options out there as well. This option from Motolis is a pretty good option, which will block out a good amount of noise while being pretty comfortable. The downside of these is you need to pinch them to use them, which means you will always need to use them with clean hands or else risk an ear infection. I also would not reuse these after each use. On the contrary, this option from No Noise can be inserted without the risk of contamination, and also comes with this carrying case as well, which is convenient to have on your keychain. These are good because you could wash and reuse them after each use, however, are just not that comfortable for a full day on the road. Earplugs, like most things motorcycle related, come down to personal preference and fit, so you really need to experiment with what is out there and find out what works for you and your riding style. For an even more detailed video, check out this one from Lolly, which is extremely well done and is definitely worth the watch for anyone who's wondering about earplugs. So whether you're embarking on that coast-to-coast bike trip this summer, or maybe just taking some day rips, it's never too late to get your gear properly dialed in. These are just a couple of the essentials I've mentioned coming from a distance rider trying to get this stuff right over the last decade, and obviously there's many more components that we could mention. But as always, a massive shout out to J&P Cycles for sponsoring the video. Head on over to their site for any and all the gear that I mentioned, and check out my landing page for a more in-depth view on some of my go-to gear. Whether it's something major like a helmet or something less flashy like earplugs, start today and seize this moment to get your gear dialed in. Don't wait until you're halfway across the country to realize something isn't working. And on that, FXDLS Brooklyn is out.
Goodbye.